I want to get things started for once. I am so pissed about the United States government's play on OpenAI and Anthropic. And there's a lot of politics to this that need to be weighted out. For one, thank you, Amandi at Anthropic, for fear mongering and making sure the United States government could get its hand into all of our state of the art models. Thank you so much for your efforts. They have resulted in the normal American citizen no longer having access to state of the art, and only the privileged enterprises can even touch these models now for the time being. And on the surface, it seems, maybe if it's 30 days, it's not a big deal. No, 30 days in AI time is years, especially if you had a chance to play with Fable before they took it down. You saw the model had made dramatic advancements compared to its predecessor, Opus 4.8, and it was also far superior to GPT 5.5. And the thing here to understand, there's a lot to this. You have an administration that is not technical, and the vast majority of Americans are not technical. So translating what this technology does and all of the impacts and all of the nuance and all of the capabilities is extraordinarily difficult. And even if you have technical advisors, which they do, they have some of the best in the world, translation, there's a reason they say lost in translation, because it does get lost. And ultimately now, we are in a situation of warfare against other nations where we are trying to advance this technology as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. And we're giving it to enterprises to help ensure that our GDP keeps going higher. But my concern there as well is, even though they make up 80% of the GDP of the United States, they do not make up 80% of the innovation. And this technology is innovative. And if you have bureaucracy, you don't innovate. And they have so much bureaucracy in all of these major firms that have access to this tech. Needless to say, I, among many people right now, are extraordinarily upset that we are now going to be limited in our access to this technology and that it's going to be government regulated.
The biggest question and fear I have, right, is it seems that the U.S. government in the last, 30, 40, 50 years, whatever the newest, greatest thing, best innovation thing is, the U.S.'s, at least public's ability to help innovate and help keep us to be number one has gotten so diluted by how much the government puts these restrictions on us. It's kind of looked at like when COVID happened, there was no more manufacturing that we did here in the U.S. and we got screwed. There was major issues. At the time I was selling cars and we had, when that happened, we were paying people more than what they paid for their car 3 years before.
I remember seeing that.
And that was all just because all of the manufacturing chips, everything to make those cars and make them run were overseas on there. And so if we don't learn from our past mistakes of, okay, well, if we limit and have all these regulations on these models and things like that, how much is that going to put us back? And there's also, in my mind, I feel like in the AI race and the open types of models and open source models, the US is already way behind compared to other countries too. And where is that going to put us here in the next, even I would say 5 years, but with AI in the next year?
There is a model that did drop today that I looked at it, and only on one benchmark is it behind Opus 4.8. And it's a US open source model. This is new. It wasn't here. And the landscape, just to be very transparent, we didn't have anything US based at all for like the last couple years. Meta was definitely out of that race. And now this company dropped this model, and I'm looking at its SWE scores, and they're all extremely high. I'm going to go get it today on one of our studios and see how it runs. Have it go and code some things up and have it run on a loop, building something to see how it does over the weekend. I don't know. Maybe I'll have it make a Pokemon clone.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, but
what do you? You were saying the other day that you were thinking 5.6 was going to come out, right? 5.6.
I did.
Yeah, sooner than later. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, with what the United States, with what Sam Altman said yesterday, the United States government has delayed the release of 5.6. He openly said that, and that's where I'm pissed, because now he says, but we're able to give it out to certain enterprise clients and business clients, but they have to be approved by the administration, each one. Now, there was a post I saw today by someone on the inside at OpenAI, an official, and he said that, yes, it is in testing right now, and it is scheduled for release the second week of July. I'm like, but the fact that you're scheduling these things now that far out, like, it's going to mess with markets in a negative way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
In the very least, even if it makes me mad, it just makes me so mad.
Yeah. I could see why.
But we're looking at that. CDance 2.5 released this week, and that's amazing. That model is superior to CDance 2, and CDance 2 is already better than any American video gen model, which is interesting because that's not open source. That is closed source. That's ByteDance technology, and ByteDance is TikTok, and TikTok is definitely the most advanced AI algorithms for social interest graphs. Like, what I'm trying to say is they've got a lot of advanced AI there, probably under the hood, that we haven't seen yet. And when we just saw this American open source model, if it's accurate, we'll have to go look and see what the world says. But if it's accurate, it all suddenly caught up to Opus, and it's been 6 months since Opus. Well, 4.8's been 2 months old.
Yeah. Which company runs open source?
Runs this open source model. Let me look at it, and let's chat on something else while I go pull that up. I don't know who it is.
And that's kind of where I feel like a lot of the AI is going to start going, especially here in the US with all of the regulations that we're getting and all of the bureaucracy of it, that they're going to go to either open source models, or the majority of people are going to start using open source models from other countries, which could start playing bigger risks as well.
That's the hope. See, I hope it goes that way, because then the administration will be put on notice to be like, oh, we have to be releasing this stuff. But this is the thing we can't sit here and circumvent, is the risk. Like, how risky is the technology? And that's a big deal. Like, if it's a real risk to cybersecurity, which it sounds like it was, but we don't know for certain, then where does that put us?
And I mean, one of the other questions I've had, right, is with how Fable got like at least taken down was, I mean, if I'm remembering right, it was Amazon pretty much lobbying the government, saying, hey, this is a security risk, you need to take it down, which Amazon is one of Anthropic's biggest investors. So what if those investors that have all of this see these models and say, oh, this is going to ruin our market share of what we own and what we can hold on to, and what this AI model can do for the masses will allow people to start creating these other technologies where we can't keep the stranglehold on there. And that's why they're starting to try to create these bigger speed bumps and issues for people to get a hold of these models. It's a crazy, weird theory, honestly. But in the world of capitalism and where our country's at with, you know, how big some companies are, is they'll do anything they can to keep their stranglehold on the market and not give up their profits.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting theory, and I'd like to see what we could find to support it.
And yeah, it's like I said, there's no basis for that theory. Like, it is just a fun one to like kind of think about and maybe be like,
yeah, that's.
But there, like I said, there's no actual like I can point to here shows that. But it's a thought because of what we've seen happen in the last 6 years with, you know, social media narratives being pushed and everything like that as well.
Okay. We'll have to see. I think there's definitely shenanigans. I almost wondered if Amondi intentionally did this, but I'm like, I don't know if he has the forethought. He's very opinionated, very much his way or the highway, and he thinks he's right about everything. At least that's the vibe I get from him. And he, from what I see in the data, he directly denied the government's request to not release Fable. And he went ahead and did it anyways. And that's, of course, going to piss off the government. And I'm mad at him for that. But he's also been the guy. Ornith 1.0, a family of open sourced LLMs specialized for agentic coding. Ornith 1.0 spans a full parameter sizes, including a 9B, a dense, 9B dense, a 31B dense, a 35 MOE, and a 397 MOE. So a mixture of experts. Looking at the scores for the highest end model and doing a comparative here, I'm going to pull this up for my screen. Well, you could probably pull it up on the main screen and share with the audience. Yeah, let's pull it over here. And I'll go ahead and show our audience this, and then we can switch the screen over so they can see what these scores are and what they indicate.
Remind me to switch it back to auto.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sweet. So if you take a look here, do we have it on there now?
Yep, it should be on there.
Awesome. Now, I don't know how well you guys can read this, but this yellow, or this orange, excuse me, is the new model. And then if you look up here at the top dash and go across the board, you have Claude Opus 4.8, which is the only one we care about, and that's the one on the other side. If you look at Terminal Bench 2.1, which is a good one, 77.5 compared to 70.3, beating Opus 4.8
Yeah.
by a large margin. Okay, those aren't small numbers. Now, SWE Bench verified, this is really important, and it does not beat Opus 4.8. Okay, that's a very important one to consider. So this is where you have to get real, because marketing's awesome. Just like Japan did a couple days ago, they released a model like this, and then it turned out that, it wasn't that grandiose. But let's go over here to the SWE Pro Bench. Okay, if you look here, what model do they compare against there? Okay, in any case, 62.2.
Why do these two look like they're the same?
Oh, because they're two different models. If you look,
Okay.
I believe those are the Quens.
Okay, one's a
3.7
okay.
max and one's a 3.5, I believe. Okay.
Makes sense. Yeah, that is because you have the purple and the
Yeah.
yellow. It's a really hard color distinguishing there, but
So we close out of this and we look at this at 62.2, which is the score that it got on the SWE Bench Pro. And then we go down here and we look at the SWE Bench Pro. 62.
close.
69. That's not close. But it did beat GPT 5.5.
Yeah.
But let's look here on other harder tests that they had here. Terminal Bench 2.1.
Beat Claude, but not GPT.
Yeah, and GPT goes up to 83.4 in harness, allegedly, which is really good. Let's see here. The Ornith got that. 48, 45. So honestly, it's not a bad model. I'm going to have to download it and test it, or have one of our teammates download it and test it. But that's the major news on that front right now. And let's see how the feed looks in general. Right here, this is a perfect example of where we're sitting right now. We must build or own open source, decentralized, distributed AGI. There's no other way. Right now, politicians and big tech executives are holding us hostage. They literally hold our future in their hands, and this has to change. It's a big ask. China definitely wants to democratize AI because it will undercut the current profitability of the United States market.
Yep.
And it'll destroy the current GDP growth rate. I think 40 or 60% of the current GDP is AI based. The growth, right? Massive. It's a huge amount. And let's see here. Their highest end performers, the top 1%, are running a minimum of 76 agents 24/7.
Holy crap.
And people don't really get what that means. But I'm like, that's 76 employees that are 10x employees each compared to where we were 4 years ago. And
That don't need to sleep, don't need to eat. They can work all the time.
And that's going to be, I bet you, commonplace in the next couple of years for most companies.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons I think that people worry a lot about the economic impact of AI, and they shouldn't, because people don't realize this. Humans are extraordinarily competitive for survival. What if I have a team of people and all of them can use AI and they're all 10x or 100x people? Am I going to fire any of them? No, because they can all use it and they can make me more money and more profitability. And therefore, the companies that have that situation are going to set the precedents for just hiring the best people. Now, will that lead to people being unemployed? Absolutely. But what I'm saying is it will also lead to people realizing they need to upskill and in order to maintain marketability, because there are enough people out there, when push comes to shove, they're not going to cower and crumble. They're going to get stronger and they're going to go and say, I need to work harder, because that's how we are as a species. At least I believe in us that way.
Yeah.